Well, it's playing. What does it matter?
Done. They said it wouldn't last. White man, black man. America F1.
There we go. All right, welcome back to the show. This week on America F1.
America F1, coming to you straight from San Francisco, California. Shermantown.
And we're going to talk about the 2011 Canadian Grand Prix, possibly the greatest, craziest race in the history of Formula One. Something like 6-7 pit stops for the eventual winner, Jenson Button.
Yes.
Everybody at least got a puncture. Everyone took a wing off. It was just chaos the whole time.
It was just pure chaos, and it was almost like a flood out there.
It was. Well, they red flagged the race like 2 or 3 times, right? Or was it just once?
I thought it was 2 times, and I also think they were sitting in their cars
for a while,
for like an hour.
Yeah,
waiting.
That sucks.
And usually, what they do is they get out of their car, and then they go back, they change clothes, and they just kind of lounge around in the paddock area. But in this race, they sat in the rain for an hour. So let's take you back to this Canadian Grand Prix, 2011. Remember, this is the era, the V8 era.
The nice V8 era.
So let me...
Remember when Formula One went to the V8s because they wanted to save money because of the V10s, and then the team spent $1 billion?
Yeah, I love the V10s.
The V10s are nice.
Let's talk about some of the people who were in this race.
Michael Schumacher was up to second place at one point during the race, which was crazy.
We had...
When Mercedes was not a good team yet.
We had Jenson Button for Mclaren. We had Sebastian Vettel for Red Bull.
He lost the race on the last lap. We'll talk about that later.
We had Mark Webber also for Red Bull.
He got spun out by Hamilton, I believe, at one point.
We have Michael Schumacher for Mercedes.
When Mercedes wasn't even a good team yet.
Valtteri Petrov for Renault.
He was on the Renault team. He was on the Renault team. Okay.
Renault.
I call it the Renault team because they don't win M1 in decades, it seems like.
And then we had Felipe Massa for Ferrari.
Very good driver.
2008
Formula One world champion.
But he wasn't.
For 10
Kamui Kobayashi.
Oh, Kamui. Everyone liked him.
For Sauber.
I think he was the most popular driver that year.
I really liked him.
Yeah.
I thought he got a raw deal.
Well, he wasn't. No, he wasn't that good. If you saw him, Jenson Button was behind him one day, and he's like, "This guy is sliding all over the damn place."
Jamie Alguersuari.
Oh,
he was
sorry.
STR Ferrari.
No, he was in.
He was in STR. Ferrari.
No, the Toro. It was a Todoroso.
But it was okay.
And it had the Ferrari power plant in it, but they weren't good. He wasn't a good driver.
Rubens Barrichello was racing for Williams.
That was his first year, I believe.
Sebastian's Buymeacoffee.
No. His first year was in 2010 with Williams.
Well, this is Sebastian Buymeacoffee. He was with STR.
He was with Toro Rosso too. Mm-hmm. Not a very good driver. I think he drives in the E formula, which is I hate that.
Nico Rosberg for Mercedes.
That was his second year with Mercedes.
Pedro De La Rosa was for Sauber also.
Yeah, he had a good. I think that was his. Wait a minute. Did he have another season with Williams? I think he had one more season with Williams.
But he was racing for Sauber, right there.
Yeah, well, he was
after. Okay.
He was a test driver for Mclaren for like 5 years or something, and they never put him in the car.
We got Viatino.
No, he drove a couple races for McLaren.
Viatino Liuice, HRT Cosworth.
What's his name?
I don't know. I can't pronounce that. You know how you are with bad
Give me that thing.
You pronounce that?
Valentino Luizzi.
It doesn't say Valentino. That doesn't say Valentino. Valentino's with an A. That's an I.
No.
See?
Oh, Viantonio Liuzzi.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah,
Viantonio Liuzzi.
Viantonio Valentino.
I'm not Italian, but I remember he was pretty good.
Jerome D'Ambrosio for Virgin.
They had a team. No, Richard Branson on that team.
Timo Glock also for Virgin.
Yep, I think that was his last season.
Jarno Trulli for Lotus Renault.
Oh God, he was on the green team. I forgot about that.
Naren Ketterbrink. He was
the goddamn list. Who?
Hey!
Where are you looking at?
Right here.
Where?
Right there.
Oh, Noreen Kartikane.
Yeah. Whatever, dude. He was horrible.
Oh my God.
Come on, man. That's messed up, man. What you gotta say? What are you saying? His whole career was a
No, I love I
or you
snatched the
talking
paper
about
out of your hand and then I'm talking.
man, then
Okay.
yeah. All
Okay, who's the next person?
Paul DeRusta.
Paul DeResta. He was a bust.
Yeah, Force India. Now he does commentary.
I think he's in Formula E too.
Yeah, Pasto Maldonado.
Maldonado won a race, won the 2012
He was for
Spanish Grand
Williams.
Prix.
Got Nick Heidfeld for Renault.
There you go.
Adrian Sutil for Force India.
Adrian Sutil.
Fernando Alonso for Ferrari.
For Ferrari. When he was
Heikki Kovalainen for
Heikki Kovalainen.
Heikki
for
Lotus. And we got Lewis Hamilton for McLaren.
the green card to crown. That's so funny.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
In this race, we had 7 DNFs. Okay, so
It was surprising that that's all they had was 7 DNFs because everybody either had a puncture or lost a wing in that race. And Jenson, who had 6 or 7 pit stops, I don't remember. I think he had 7, but maybe it was 6 to win that race. And he was like,
he was last. He
had a wing change. He had a puncture.
Yes.
And it was like it's one of those things. Never give up.
Never
quit.
Keep racing. Keep on moving.
You don't quit until the fat lady is humming. That's it.
Is she humming or is she singing?
Okay.
Is she humming or is she singing?
No, it's humming, singing, same thing. Anyways, when you see the checkered
really.
flag,
humming and singing are 2 different things.
No, they're kind of the same thing. You're humming.
So when you sing, you're humming.
Sorta.
So buy your new album because you hum.
Mm.
Golly. All right, so super rainy.
Wait, rain, and then it got dry. At the end of the race, they were on slicks.
One thing I learned is, well, I already knew this, but in this circuit in Canada, which is in Montreal,
It's a pretty good circuit, actually, for something that's not really a racetrack.
So the painted lines, when they're covered with water, one, you can't see them,
and you can't drive on them either.
If you drive on them,
bad.
You will spin.
Bad, because it's the same thing as hydroplaning. When you hit that piece of it's just paint. You're hitting paint. Mm-hmm. And if you've been on your bicycle and rode on paint before and fell off your bicycle, right? Or the same thing with a railroad track. It's the same thing. Or I did that in front of my studio one day where there was old train tracks there, and I just hit it just right, and off the bike I went. Off the
bike you went?
Landed on my feet. Lucky, but it's to say you lose all traction. That's why they have to stop some of these races. They call it monsoon conditions, and if they hydroplane, you have zero control of the car. I've never driven in the rain because I only drove karts before, and they say driving a cart in the rain, you don't.
It's not the same as a car.
Well, a car has suspension. You soften the car up, and they say it's actually not that hard to drive in the rain. Believe it or not. So
well, with a cart, but with a
Formula One car are supposedly pretty easy to drive in the rain.
But the better drivers are the ones that show up when it rains.
Yeah, like
Alonso,
Jenson Button.
Like Alonso.
Alonso's not that good. He's done in the race. He's okay. Schumacher was the best in the rain by far, and Senna was really
good.
Really good in the rain, and Jenson Button. Good. A lot of the races Jenson Button won were in mixed conditions, like this race, where they started on wets, then they went to the intermediates, and they went back to the wets, and then they finished on the slicks.
But even Verstappen's good in the wet. Like today,
yeah, but he's from Holland. It snows and rains there all the time.
Like out of the racers today, I would say Hamilton, Alonso, and Verstappen are the best in the wet, and also for some reason Bottas and also. The guy moving, the French
Bottas,
but the other guy moving to the French team now with Ocon.
Oh, Nick de Vries?
No, with Ocon.
Oh, Gasly.
Gasly's also good.
He's not.
He's better than average. Let's put it that way.
Look, Gasly is a bust. He's
wait. He won a race. What do you mean he's a
It
bust?
was a lucky win.
What?
It was a lucky win.
But
he
he's
only
not
won
a bust.
Dude, he was in the Red Bull. He never even made it a podium in the Red Bull. Nothing.
This is now. He needed some seasoning.
Dude, he was a second off of Verstappen. It was like he's not that good.
I like him.
You can like him. I don't care. He's not a good driver.
I think he's a good driver.
He's aight.
We're going to find out this year if he can beat Ocon. I think
everybody could beat Ocon. I don't know why Ocon is in Formula One. He hits everybody and the pace car. He is the worst driver of his
Montreal
genre.
2011. These guys weren't even in the freaking. They were still karting.
They were karting at that time. Exactly.
Let's get back to the subject. So, Sebastian Vettel was on the pole and led the whole damn race.
He did it till the until like 5 corners to go, and he slid off the track.
Yeah, I think there was 6 corners left, and he slid off because he was pushing because Button was right behind him.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It was 6.
It was corner 5 or 6, one or the other.
But the thing about Button is he had switched his tires at the right time, and he was catching everybody at 2 seconds a lap. And so Sebastian was just trying to stave him off because he had come from all the way.
Well, Sebastian made a mistake. He was way ahead of Button going into that corner. He was like a few car lengths ahead.
Yeah.
And the race was essentially over, but he missed his braking zone. And when you do that, like he did in 2018 in Germany, which ended the championship run for Ferrari that year. Anyways, don't make mistakes.
Well, I mean, everyone makes mistakes.
Everyone makes mistakes, but whoever makes the least amount of mistakes
is going to win the race.
Gets to drink the champagne and gets all the jewelry.
But the crazy thing about Button is not only does he change his front wing and he has a flat because of Lewis Hamilton was on the inside of him.
Yeah, that was a racing incident.
And Button didn't see him because it was so wet and there's rain everywhere and mud over his mirrors. He just pulled into the raceway.
He would have never been able to see him anyways because the spray off the tires, you can't see anything behind you. You can barely see in front of you. But that's why racing in the rain is so challenging.
Right.
It's not the actual the performance of the car is all that different. It's a little slower, and supposedly you set the car up a lot springier. You put a lot more spring into the car,
but you also have bigger downforce with the wings. That's what Mercedes. That's what McLaren did that race. They had a better setup with their wings, and that's why near the end,
but you have to say the problem with rain. If it's going to rain 100%, then it's easy. Then you soften the springs up a little bit. You put the big wings on, and you put the tires on. But if it's mixed conditions, you have to set the car up one way or the other. You have to pick. Yeah. So if you pick wrong, you're screwed for the whole race.
So that was a big difference. I mean, he was actually in this race. He was last like twice.
Yeah, he pitted
6 times or
6 or 7 times. I think it was 7. I think it was 7 times he pitted. It's the most pit stops anyone ever did in a race and won the race. Yeah.
Can you imagine these guys today pitting 6 times?
Yeah, that could happen. If they have a race like that, because it was so crazy, the weather was so nuts. Like I said, they started off on the rain tires, and they went to the intermediates. Then the intermediates didn't work anymore, so they went back to the rain tires. Then it was red flagged, then they went back to the intermediates, and then it was red flagged again, and then they went back to the wets. It was just the most bonkers race ever.
See, in today's world, I think they would have ended the race because they have that time limit going.
Well, yeah, it was probably because of this race.
And then in this race, they literally sat for an hour and then waited for another. So it was a 2-hour delay.
Well, because remember, the TV people don't want to have a Formula One race on for 10 hours. They lose their minds.
Right.
Because the sponsors only pay for 2 hours worth of...
Right, and everything after that
it's free. I'm assuming it is because everything has a contract to it.
Yeah.
Because these races always have the maximum time a Formula One race can go is 2 hours.
But can you imagine being there in the stands? And it's not just raining a little bit.
It's pouring.
It's like a monsoon out there.
Yeah, it was a crazy, crazy, crazy race.
And you're sitting in the stands with your umbrella and your rain gear for 5 hours.
Hopefully you brought rain gear. Could you imagine sitting there in your shorts?
Man, I've been up.
It was the middle of the Canadian Grand Prix in
Montreal.
It's in June, right?
Typically it is in June, yes.
So it's the summertime there, and it could be hot at that race.
It seems to rain a lot there.
I don't remember it raining before.
Even at the time I went in 2000. I think I went in 2012.
Did it rain?
Or 2013. It rained, yeah.
The whole race?
No. Just like one of the practices.
Oh, okay. But they didn't race on race day.
No, it didn't rain on race day, but it did a little bit because that was it did a little bit, but not to the extent of nowhere near what this was.
Well, when we get the San Francisco GP, which will be the 25th race we're going to get the SFGP. You heard it here first.
Dodging land.
And I guarantee you, Sherm, they'll put it in September because that's when the best weather in San Francisco is in September, right?
That would be September, October.
And you could walk to the race because it's going to be in Golden Gate Park.
Vision here for
they do. I have the vision.
You have the vision.
I have 30 years of hospitality experience. I've been throwing parties and weddings forever.
Nobody cares. What does that got to do with Formula One?
We'll get them. We're gonna meet these guys. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Liberty Mutual is
All right.
Liberty Mutual. Is that the name of them?
Liberty Mutual.
Liberty.
What was it? A mutual of
Oh my-
Ohio people. You can.
I'm sorry, all the youngins out there. You have no idea what we're talking about.
I used to love that show.
What?
Mutual Omaha. I used to watch that.
We
on
did. Everyone was on
Saturdays, and I used
Sundays.
to
No, it was
love that
Sundays.
show.
It was that, then Disney
Wild
and
Kingdom.
Lawrence Welk.
Yeah, and Wild Kingdom. I used to watch all that.
Yeah. Anyways,
That was a great
2011 Canadian Grand Prix. So
So
who was it who? Yeah, it was Massa who hit the wall at one point.
Massa was out, but he stayed in, I think. And then no, it was our boy. It was Alonso that got punted out of the race. He did a full circle and was facing the wrong way and had to wait till everybody came out, and then he was beached like on the curb. It was a high curb, and he couldn't get off the high curb, and so that was DNF.
Well, I was in a race that was sort of crazy like this, where I started 18th and I finished second.
You were in
The year I won the championship. But
back in 1925.
I just hung back at the beginning, like everyone when they told me,
horses.
and I just hung back,
Yeah.
and like on the first lap, 5 people took each other out.
Yeah,
So I
which
was
is
like,
smart.
I went from 18th to like 12th on the first lap,
Right.
and then I just started picking them off one after the other the whole race and I could. The guy who won the race was
Way ahead.
He was at least a straightaway ahead of me.
Maybe if you have better tires.
No, I sheared my engine bolts off, and when they went to go start my cart up, the engine's flopping all over.
Yeah.
So they had to go get back to the shop, get another engine, come out, drill to get the bolts out, put the new engine on. No testing, no nothing. Just put me in the cart and go. And we came in second. So I got driver of the day.
Number two. Driver of the day. Back in 1875.
2008. Thank you very much.
Most of the people don't even, no one knows.
No one knows
No
what.
one knows. No one knows.
There was people
Where's
there.
your trophy? Where's your little trophy?
It's at the house.
Oh, yeah?
You saw it.
Yeah. I couldn't see it. It was so small.
It's like this
like
big.
that big.
It is like that big.
Not like my trophies.
What trophies?
Baseball trophies.
What baseball trophy?
The baseball trophies that I have.
When did you get a baseball trophy?
I was the most valuable player in high school.
What?
First team all city.
What? In San Francisco? Oh, wait a minute. They cut me from the team.
Yeah, in San Francisco.
But I played on the summer leagues. I wasn't very good. I should have been a pitcher.
Yeah, anyway.
I was an okay
I
catcher.
don't need to live in my past.
Until I saw a guy who, when he threw the ball, I could hear the goddamn wind. I was like, did you hear the wind?
That's when you're throwing some cheese. But anyway, you digressed big time as usual.
Okay. Anyways,
Okay.
Sebastian Vettel
Lost on the
last lap. Jenson Button won the race.
Right.
And the party that happened after that race is supposed to be legendary.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much the race he's known for.
Oh, it's his best race. It was. He won other races, and in 2012, the McLaren team should have won the championship, but they brought stuff to the car that didn't work. And we were talking about this year, the Red Bull. 2022, the Red Bull never brought everything they brought to the car and made it better.
Well, I remember in 2012, and that was the year and the reason why
Hamilton left.
Hamilton left McLaren, because not only did he have a lot of DNFs that year, but the pit stops.
They made a lot of mistakes.
Abysmal. It was like the worst. It was worse than Ferrari's pit stops. I mean, there was
That's
pit
hard to do.
That's really hard to do. I mean, it was pit stops that normally would take back in that era. Probably like around the 4-second mark was probably normal, 3 seconds. They weren't.
No, they were already.
They weren't in the twos like
Yeah,
today.
they were, because they weren't. The second they stopped refueling, it was like about a 2-second pit stop was like normal.
No way.
Yeah, look back.
It was like in the 3s and 4s.
No, now you're tripping.
No, you're tripping.
When they put gas in the car, it used to be like 6 or 7 seconds was a pit stop.
The McLaren was making such big mistakes. I remember it because
they did it every race too.
Every race it was either bad strategy. He would have a DNF.
The gun would break. Someone would screw up their
or
job.
Or they have really, really bad pit stops.
It was weird too, because the Williams team wasn't all that competitive all these years. They have the best pit stops in Formula 1 still.
Yeah. Unless they could get an engine.
So whoever the guy does the pit stops at Williams, that's the reason why they're that good. It's the guy who runs the pit stops. That's
the pit crew leader.
Yeah, whoever that dude is, whatever his title is.
All right. Well,
he might be a race man. Maybe he's the pit stop manager or something. But that dude on that team, whoever that is, that dude consistently year in and year out, that they have the best pit stops, and they have the worst car.
They do. I like the colors though.
Yeah, but Williams is screwed now. They just lost their principal and the technical director all at once. It's like
so breaking news. We all know that Andretti is coming
with Cadillac and Chevrolet, which Chevrolet's never been in Formula One.
So it's GM, General Motors, is the owners of
Yeah.
Cadillac.
Well, Chevrolet, GM, whatever. It's all under one tent.
Yeah, but Chevrolet will be different than Cadillac. It's a different model.
Yeah, but it's General Motors.
There's not going to be a Chevrolet sticker.
No,
there's going to be a GM sticker and there's going to be a Cadillac.
No, it'll just say Cadillac on the car. It's going to be Andretti
just
Cadillac.
For some of the people out there, people actually don't know that Cadillac is actually really competitive in the touring segment of racing.
Oh yeah, they're the
DTM,
24-hour races.
Yeah,
that's where they put all their money on.
Very competitive.
Because, but it's still General Motors has never been in Formula One before.
Right, which is exciting to me.
All I know is they're going to have to come up. They're going to suck for a while.
Well, I don't know.
That's the problem with these. They're going to start a brand new team from scratch.
Right, but the one good thing is Andretti has a lot of money, and obviously GM has a lot of money. So
there's another company that's going to invest in the team.
I think that's going to be great. And we got our boy from Ferrari, Benedetta. He's sitting there, and
Benito.
Yes,
there's rumors he's going to Red Bull.
But he could go and be the technical director for them.
Well, he was an engine guy, so that's where he comes from.
That's where Andretti should hire him to help formulate their engine.
Well, okay, Andretti's building a brand new factory somewhere in Indiana, and they're going to actually be an American team that builds their own car,
which will be awesome.
In America, it's not going to be. They're not going to have a satellite anything anywhere. It's just the shop's going to be in Indiana.
I know. I think I should do the PR, or I should be the guy that helps when they do the interviews.
Call him,
Andretti. I think I might call, but I just don't want to move to Indiana. I like.
You don't have to. You can do it remotely,
and I can do it remotely, and then I'll just go to the races.
That's right.
Except
I wouldn't want to go. I don't think I would want to go to every Formula One race. That would suck. It would suck.
Yeah.
It would suck.
I mean, yeah.
You get really jaded really fast.
Because there's just too many races.
Well, and you go traveling. It's like if you do it once or twice a year, if there's a delay, you're like, that's no problem, no big deal. But if you do it every week, oh my God.
Well, what would even be worse? Just think about this. The way they do the races, they don't do like all the Middle East and then move. They
go all over the goddamn place.
So, like in North America, instead of just going Austin, or Miami, Austin, Las Vegas,
Canada, and then Brazil,
Canada, or Canada,
and then they go down to Brazil. Oh, and the Mexico race.
And just instead of doing all of North America, they go one race here, then back over to Europe, then one race here, then back over to South.
They used to have
Saudi Arabia, then one over here, and then back. That's stupid.
Well, they used to have the European season, which started in. Like, they used to go to the Spanish Grand Prix used to be before Monaco, and now it's after Monaco.
But what I'm saying is it's stupid to go back and forth,
Well, they can. They have these things called airplanes.
But they're always talking about cost cutting, and they're always talking about
they make
the environment. That's why the engines sound
Formula One makes so much goddamn money right now.
They're using this twin turbo V6 hybrid instead of going back to the V8 or
they're
V10.
not going back to a V8. They're going to go. They're going to end up with.
Give me more sound.
They're going to end up with an electric car before too long.
I'll tell you right now. If Formula One goes all electric like Formula E, I'm done.
No, you're not.
I'm done. Formula E
they can make
horrible.
It. Well, that's Formula E.
I cannot listen to Formula E. They have no sound. I don't want to hear no woo.
They could make them sound like something.
They could, but they're not doing it even now. Even the V6s don't sound that great.
They sound better than they did when they first came out in 2014.
Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah.
When it
first,
it's like I was at the race. I was.
You couldn't even hear the engine, right?
I was in Japan. And then in 2014, we went to Austin, I think, and it was horrible. I mean, the sound was like it was like a really bad whirly bird. Like
it sounded like a motorcycle. It sounded like a motorcycle engine to me.
Yeah. So, and they're supposed to actually.
Anyways,
wait.
Canada 2011. That's what we're supposed to be talking about. Why are we talking about?
You're the one always doing this. You always go off track. And
I'm bringing this back.
You bring me off track and then blame it on me. That's okay. I'll take the blame.
Anyways,
I'm gonna drink some water.
We're gonna conclude this because we've been babbling about nothingness for the last 20 minutes. But I still think this is it's either this race, the 2008 Brazilian Grand Prix where Felipe Massa won the championship, and then 10 seconds later, Lewis Hamilton got the trophy.
Right, which we talked about.
Nigel Mansell did a race at Hungary back in the day where he started like 14th and won the race on a track you're not supposed to be able to pass on.
Right.
That was a pretty good race. And then there was another race. I think it was the 2011 or 2012.
I think Hamilton had one where I think it was in Brazil, where he got spun around and ended up last and ended up somehow making his way all the way through the
Are you sure that wasn't Vettel?
Vettel did that, but remember, that was when he was winning the championship. He didn't win that race. He only needed to be in the top like 5 or 6.
Yeah, and he spun on the first lap, but it was lucky he was at the first lap, not later. So,
but that was a good race too. But this one race in particular, Hamilton made his way all the way from last place all the way through the field to win. There's been a lot of great races, I would say, that define people, but I think this 2011 Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal, in the wet, defines Jenson Button's career. It was a great comeback. It was a never quit, never say die race. And when he was going through the field, he was doing some incredible passes.
He's always been good. And him and Rubens Barrichello were the two best drivers in mixed conditions. Because the first race Rubens won was the 2000 or 2001 Hockenheim race when the track was still the old track and it was the fast track. Nice track. One side of the track it was raining on, and the other side it was completely bone dry.
Oh, okay.
And he's out on slicks. So half the lap he's like putting around, and then the other half of the lap he's getting to go flat out.
He's making up
it's
the
like
time.
it was a crazy race.
And you know what I liked about him and what I didn't like about Ferrari? Even there were some times where Schumacher already had pretty much the season wrapped up. Rubens would be ahead, and they would ask Rubens to move out.
What do you mean, like the one at the one at the Austrian Grand Prix?
Yeah, I was like, come on, man, let this guy win this race. You know, he's a good number 2.
The bookmakers,
soldier. Come on.
The bookmakers in Vegas still don't let you bet on Formula One because of that race.
I wouldn't let them, but you can bet.
Maybe online,
in England,
but not in America. I remember one of the guys from Vegas lost his ever-loving mind because everybody bet on Schumacher and no one bet on Rubens. And if Rubens would have won the race, he would have made a mint. And it was like, oh my God, what just happened?
It reminds me of like what they did to Perez this year. Where Verstappen has it all sewn up. All he has to do.
Who is Verstappen? It's Verstappen is his name.
I just said that.
No, you said Verstappen.
No, you said Verstappen.
No, I said Verstappen.
Yeah, well, that's what you just said.
You can't pronunciate names. God, you graduated from college. I can't even believe it.
You said Verstappen just now.
Noreen Carter-Kane. You call him Steppen. Verstappen. His name is Verstappen.
So this is the first of season 2, 2023.
By the way, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody. Keep on watching, like, subscribe,
send us money.
Remember to comment, and also tell your friends about us, and keep on racing.
San Francisco GP 2025 is coming to a town near you. Then you can walk to work or walk to the race.
That's it there.